You're listening to Marine Journey Podcast, your source of empowering ideas and effective techniques from the world's highest achievers. To the journey of marine ecosystem, coral, conserving ocean reef for all marine life organisms. So, everyone, welcome to the Marine Journey. You are here because you believe that ocean and seas are incredible things of beauty, with a fascinating mix of underwater gardens and marine life. Of course, particularly importance of the stunning coral reef, a protection mechanism to coastline, and a home to an area of ecosystem. So our goal for this show is to introduce you to people and ideas that will help everyone to achieve the main goal of preserving the marine ecosystem. So today's guest is a group of students with a startup company called Coral Atlas Incorporated, whose aim is to save the world's coral reef. They won the Modern Marine Scientist Award, and their achievements have led to countless international webinars, including the Mapping the Coral Reef, have become popular. So that doesn't stop as they here to continue to motivate and inspire the young scientists and engineers to protect and preserve our coral reef using technology. So please help me welcome the people with a brilliant mind behind the company Coral Atlas Incorporated. So your technology has become popular. Your group encountered tons of difficulties and overcome a lot of them. So walk through us a little bit. What was your motivation behind creating this imaginable technology that could protect the marine life?
The Philippines, one of the Southeast Asia's countries, is located in the heart of the Coral Triangle and is regarded as the epicenter of marine shorefish biodiversity, with the highest concentration of species per unit area. The Philippines' unique and wonderful biodiversity, as well as its vulnerability, play a part in the country's extensive experience in marine protected areas creation.
However, the Philippines is the most endangered center of ecosystems, with its marine ecosystem suffering from severe degradation. With all of these factors into account, the Philippines marine conservation initiatives need special attention.
The world has recognized the urgency of the situation and has taken steps to prevent the degradation of one of the world's most valuable ecosystems. Corals, whether dead or alive, should not be collected. All waste should be processed and treated, and no waste should be placed directly into the water. The well-being of these reefs may be ensured after this awareness has been established in the public.
More than a million small-scale fishers in the Philippines rely on coral reef fisheries for a living. However, human activity, such as fishing, coastal development, farming, and fish farming, have severely harmed or destroyed numerous reef regions. Despite the fact that methods such as blast fishing and poison fishing are prohibited, enforcement is lacking. Fishers frequently use cyanide to stun fish, making them easier to capture. This approach, however, can destroy corals if done repeatedly.
So from that motivation, your group was able to create and develop a coral mapping technology. And what was it all about?
How this technology works is it captures data through satellite imagery and will use the United Nations Environment Program Core layer as the reference. So once it has cleaned up the raw data with a number of processing techniques, it is passed on to the institute. So from there, the data will be corrected for issues like atmospheric effects, water body detection, sun glint removal, depth calculation, and bottom reflectance estimation. And after this, different coral reef environments will then be classified by leveraging the models. Machine learning algorithms use the principle of object-based analysis to create highly efficient accurate maps, incorporating attributes like global wave climate model, water depth, scope, and such along the way. Once the maps are created, georeference data will be collected in selected regions to help test, develop, and implement the mapping algorithm.
So, coral mapping is very important, especially in the Philippines, because Philippines belong to the Southeast Asian region, famous for its coral biodiversity known as Coral Triangle. Coral mapping nowadays is needed, especially here in country, because 95% of our coral reefs are in poor condition. Coral reefs are the most fertile and diverse ecosystem with biogenic structure and vulnerable to several stressors and changes. Also, fisheries resources, especially reef fish, are associated with coral reefs, with a significant correlation with coral reef communities. So, if our coral reefs are destroyed or collapse, it could lead to a domino effect of mass destruction, and many marine species will vanish. That's why coral mapping is very important nowadays to track different marine protected areas easily. And it also helps some organization with the project for coral reef restoration here in country.
You have used the term mass destruction. And if I'm not mistaken, this is related to the anthropogenic threats. And as a developer of this technology or coral mapping, can you guys further elaborate how anthropogenic threats create a massive domino effect in our coral reef and in general marine environment?
First, anthropogenic activities are the threats to coral reefs that suffer from human-caused activities or threats. There are a lot of anthropogenic activities. They only not affect a biome but mainly the ecosystem. Pollution is one of the most serious hazards to reefs. Dredging, coastal development, agricultural and deforestation activities, and sewage treatment plant operations all have sediments, nutrients, pesticides, insecticides, oil, and trash that flows back into the ocean. Nutrient levels can rise and support the fast development of algae and other creatures that can suffocate corals. Other contaminants like oil can block the ways on how coral reefs survive. It also affects the coral reproduction. And I only give pollution. With only pollution, it has this domino effect not only for the coral reefs but to all living organisms. Coral reefs are also a source of food and new medicines. Many living organisms depend on reefs for food, income, and also protection. Going back to anthropogenic activities, there are also overfishing, dynamite or cyanide fishing, collecting live corals for aquarium industry, mining coral for construction of materials, carelessness of the tourists. There are just a few of the numerous ways that people all over the world harm reefs on daily basis. Now my partner will explain what is the importance of coral reefs and what will be the effects of these anthropogenic threats and how it will also affect us humans.
So coral reefs, as we know, operate as natural barriers, shielding shorelines from the effects of the sea. As coral reefs collapse, coastlines are more vulnerable to storm damage and floods from hurricanes, cyclones, and tropical storms. Additionally, without coral reefs, the ocean will be unable to absorb as much carbon dioxide, resulting in an increase in atmospheric CO2. Coral reef destruction would have a disastrous effect on the economics, food supply, and safety of tropical countries' coastal communities. These implications are evident for the wealthier industrialized countries that rely on seafood harvested from coral reef ecosystems.
From that causes and effects, such as you have said a while ago, the vulnerability of coastline, food scarcity, climate change, and such, I believe that was your company's foundation in continuing to preserve and protect our marine environment. So last question before we end this webinar. Does Coral Atlas Incorporated have a new objectives in mind to promote and develop? If so, what is it?
The Philippines is located in the heart of the Coral Triangle and is regarded as the epicenter of the marine shore fish biodiversity. 5,000 types of clams, snails, and mollusks, 981 species of bottom living algae, 488 species of coral, over 3,000 species of fish that are endemic to the country, the hundreds of species called the place home, and the other people doing anything just to benefit from that. These human activities, coupled with the climate change, pose serious threats and possible dissemination of its marine biodiversity. Due to our limited access to the ocean, science and technology enable us to better understand the world and assist us in developing solutions. New technologies such as the coral mapping, which helps to speed up reef restoration, enhanced GPS mapping of the ocean floor, which could help to reduce the needless killing of fish and sea mammals, and many other modern technologies.
Our foundation partner with local government entities and NGOs to organize events such as cleanup drives and seminars on sustainable fishing methods. And aside from that, our foundation, in collaboration with other partners, is developing innovative technologies with the same objectives, utilizing science and technologies in addressing marine environmental issues for our generation and for the next generation to come. And with that, we'd like to express our appreciation to all the engineers, to all the inventors, and to all the scientists out there who are putting in the work and dedicating their lives in creating all those incredible inventions. I'd also like to encourage aspiring young ones, all the young scientists and engineers, and to tell them that the road will be difficult, but it will be worthwhile. So keep on dreaming and achieve those goals. And if you're watching this or if you're hearing this right now, start doing your bit to conserve and safeguard our marine ecosystem today. Thank you very much, and thank you for having us here.
Thank you so much, Coral Atlas Incorporated. I am grateful for interviewing your group today. You have given me and the viewers a clear overview about the concept of what is really happening now in our coral reef. And again, this is a Marine Journey podcast, leaving a last conclusion that conserve now and protect our ocean reef for you and for all the marine life organisms. See you on the next journey.